John, we don't know each other too well. I'm not sure we've actually ever met. Is that correct?
Uh, yeah, I see your picture all around. Sometimes I confuse that with actually meeting people, but I don't think we've actually physically met.
Right. Okay. I know a few things about you. I know you've lived/live in Japan, that you're a neo-futurist, obviously, and that one of my cooler cousins actually listened to your music growing up. Do you have any cousins? Did any
Uh,
of them listen to my music?
wow, no. I have cousins is the answer to that. Yes, but no, I don't think they're all much older, like in their 50s and 60s. They probably haven't
Mhm.
listened to your young hip music.
They've never been to my SoundCloud with 16 followers?
They're probably not one of those 16. Yeah.
Fair enough. Okay, well, we actually have had one significant interaction, though you might not be aware of it. John, let me ask you, what do you think about Valentine's Day?
It's hit or miss for me sometimes. Depends on the person I'm dating. I don't think about it if I'm not with somebody that cares about it.
Hmm. Okay, well, let me follow it up with this. Do you make a habit of ruining strangers' Valentine's Days?
Only if a relationship has gone bad, but not like externally from my own dating situation.
Right, as, as far as you know.
As far as I know,
Um,
yes.
Now, if I may, did you perform with the San Francisco Neo-Futurists at the Boxcar Theater in February of 2014?
I did. I did. I remember it also because it was Valentine's Day and also it was my birthday around that time. So I actually do recall being there for that.
I went on the website. There's some pictures of you from March, but there are no pictures of you in February. But I happen to know that you were there. While you were in the show in February of 2014, did you perform a play entitled Piano Bar Confessions or something along those lines?
I did. We had a piano in the space, so we were always trying to figure out ways to use it. So I wrote that play. Yeah.
hmm How does that play go?
If I recall correctly, I asked the audience if there's someone there who plays piano and if they're willing to come up. And when they come up, they sit there and I have another neo-futurist with me to make it a little bit more safe for them to speak. And then we sort of basically talk about our sexual situations over the years.
hmm hmm Yeah, the format goes a little bit like you have one Neo say a phrase that starts with or they explain their relationship or their something about their sexual past life that starts with a phrase. The second Neo does the same thing, starting with that phrase, and then the audience member will do the same. And it's a really good play. But on the night in question, um, it was Valentine's Day. I had gone to see the show because Willie Caldwell, one of my best friends, happened to be in the show that night. And since it was Valentine's Day, I brought the girl I had been seeing.
Huh.
We had been together for about 2 months. It was getting pretty frequent. We were seeing each other a few times a week. And we had made this date on Valentine's Day, so I was pretty excited about that. I felt that was an indication of something. But she was the one who was chosen to come up on stage and answer the questions. And it was very fun to watch. It was very embarrassing for her. And then it got to the point where the phrase that started the sequence was the last time I had sex.
Huh.
And she completed the phrase by saying, the last time I had sex was this morning. But of course, I had not been with her that morning.
Ah.
Um, and it dawned on me immediately what had happened. It was very embarrassing, and I tried to keep my cool for the rest of the show, but I think everybody understood immediately afterwards that I was quite agitated. Um, I don't think there are any bad guys in the stories, but I had some conceptions about what the relationship was, and those clearly didn't line up with reality. And when reality intrudes on ideas that you've constructed for yourself, it can be very painful, even if you understand it, especially when you're as young as I was. I think I was about 22. But all things considered, I think it's safe to say that you ruined my Valentine's Day. So, what do you think about that?
I have to say, I'm sorry your Valentine's Day was ruined. You seem a pretty happy person now, so at least I didn't ruin your life. And I actually kind of like that it's hard to write plays that affect people's actual lives outside of the theater. So Whether good or bad, I'm glad I had some sort of effect.
Yeah. The real tragedy of it is that I think the structure was great, and I really enjoyed watching the play. I was really upset at the time. I think it's a pretty funny story now. I like to tell it from time to time. It was definitely, personally, one of the most affecting Neo plays I've ever seen. But no, mostly I was just interested in relating the story to you because, like I said, we're almost complete strangers. It's years later. Neither of us live in San Francisco. And I don't know, it just makes the world feel kind of small. And that can be nice and sort of comfortable, especially these days when so much feels out of reach.
Hmm.